Oh my God, we're back again. Brother, sister, everybody say, yeah. So, I am continuing the vlog. Here we go. Don't know what to talk about once again. I'm starting to think about some things, some different topics. I had just a thought in my head. It was funny because I was thinking about combing my hair. I've combed my hair the last couple days, and I actually got a compliment the first day I combed my hair by one of my coworkers, and she said, "Oh, I like your haircut." And I said, "No, I just combed it actually for the first time in about a year, but thank you." And then I was like, "Well, now everybody noticed that I combed my hair, so if I don't comb my hair, if it's not wet and if it's not combed, then obviously I'm unbathed. I haven't showered." But that's not necessarily true. Sometimes I shower at night. Sometimes I shower early. Uh, but it could be true. So, anyways, um, it's the assumption. That's why you got to get your hair wet when you leave the house in the morning. Even if you feel clean, even if you took a shower the night previous, you still got to get it wet. And then I was thinking, what am I really trying to do with my hair? I'm trying to train it right now. So I just, and I had a training day for my coworker the other day. And so I just thought, you know, I would tell my hair, "You like to get wet?" And if you've seen Training Day, that might make sense. I'm not really the best at quoting movies, but I think that's the line that Denzel says to Ethan Hawke's character before he whips out the PCP or whatever it is, crack. He's like, "You like to get wet?" I was just thinking, you talking to my hair. It's Training Day. You like to get wet? But I didn't put a comb through it because I'm also not trying to set a precedent for myself. I'm not trying to have the clean lines. And I just feel kind of like a phony because and then by the end of the day, it's all crazy anyways. It's starting to curl, go nuts by the end of the day. This person, I don't know what is going on. They're not stopping. They're cautioning. It was a small, short bus, but they weren't stopping. They were looking for children, I think. The children weren't arriving. And that's what can happen when you're driving, is you can get distracted very easily from what you're talking about and go on to a totally different topic. Also, if anyone has noticed, I'm kind of a scatterbrain when I'm in these videos, just talking. Sometimes I find a theme and I can go with it and I can focus in on it and maybe get something valuable out of it. But right now, I'm just talking. I had that little bit that I thought about Training Day, and I mentioned it to my coworker at the end of the day. One of my other guys said, "How did it go?" And I said, or he's like, "How was Training Day?" And I said, "Oh, I asked him if he liked to get wet," and he hadn't seen the movie, so it completely didn't make sense. And then I explained. I said, "Have you ever seen Training Day with Denzel Washington?" And he said, "No, I haven't." I said, "Oh, well, that's from the movie, I think." Like, I've seen the movie once, and I know that you know Chappelle Show and Wayne Brady did the whole thing. I don't know if that was a line, "You like to get wet." Like I said, I'm hazy on all this stuff. I'm hazy on my own life and what has happened. But people are probably, oh man. See, when I'm at a stoplight and I'm talking to myself, and then anybody can look in and then they can see that I got a video going, and I still don't feel very confident about that fact. Another reason why I'm just not putting all my information out there, because I just don't feel very confident about what I'm doing here. I'm still going to be posting it, and I'm not getting any views. I got like there's maybe one or two people who have found me and they've seen one or two of the videos. But these are going up every morning now at 9, consistently, and I don't think I'm going to be doing any editing or anything else other than just uploading these straight to the YouTube page. So any audio issues, anything that happens from my ride from home to the office or work or whatever, doesn't matter. It's all going to be captured, and I'll post it if I make it, if the video makes it. So yeah, what can I get into? What can I talk about that's not just completely rambling surface level? There's a bunch of stuff, but what specifically? Yeah, I'm trying to get motivated now. Is the main thing. And this has been a long. I'm very lazy and procrastinating type of person. So yeah, I save things until the very last minute, and I do work well under some amount of pressure for myself. I can set goals for myself. I can complete tasks, and I can do things. But the overarching thing is when it comes down to like all right, I got a bunch of lights on in my car. I got 4-wheel drive. I got all the lights are coming on in my car. I just had it serviced, and it's telling me check engine, 4-wheel drive, and the whatever, tire pressure. Everything's going. I got 4 lights going on in my car, and I don't know why. Dang. But I just passed state troopers. Turned my lights on. I was driving with probably just the fog lights on. And it's a little bit of precipitation outside. So, all right, we got those things under control. Now back to me being a procrastinator, lazy, and being a lazy person, and how that's affected me. It's my motivation and stuff. My motivation and passion is like attached to my, it's like attached to art and emotion, and not necessarily like practical things, if that makes sense. I don't know. I'd like to be more practical. I would like to be more disciplined. And there's certain things that I've done in my life where I've tried to implement those, and I'm not consistent. And this is a practice in consistency, just doing this. And talking through my thoughts but I'm also having thoughts, and then I'm not sharing them. I'm trying to make sure that I sound intelligent, but that's kind of a conundrum because all the breaks and pauses and all the redirections and all the things that I'm thinking make me sound a lot dumber than I actually am. Or maybe I am as dumb as I sound, or dumber. Who knows? But I feel like the phone has been a big distraction in my life. I know it has been. And it's a depression that I've been in. I've been I think earlier I said that I was just trying to get motivated. But it's been like a depression type of thing that I've dealt with on and off for a long time, and that has, it's kind of stifled things. It's kind of defined certain periods of my life, and kind of I've realized that I go on this ebb and flow type of roller coaster emotionally, and then that feeds it. And it also happens to be how I face challenges as well, and how challenges seem to appear in my life, or opportunities appear in my life. And it is like a ebb and flow type of thing, where things start happening, and then more things start. It's kind of snowball effect, and it's all good outcomes ultimately, because I am where I am, and I feel good. I'm grateful, and I'm still living. I feel like I've gained some sort of wisdom on some level, inner peace on some level. I'm not all the way there with anything, but I have, and I don't think I ever will be in this realm. But I think that my consciousness and my being, who I am, my essence, is moving in a good direction for, like, ultimately, if anyone believes in spiritual ascension or illumination or awakening or anything like that, like, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And it's, part of it is answering the depression that you're going through, or that I'm going through, and part, it's the cause of, or not necessarily the cause of it, but it's a variable, it's a factor that you have to wade through, that has a lot of emotional stress. Figuring out what you are, what your purpose is, what life is, why we're here. It's all the real big questions, and just having this, like, emotional nostalgia type of thing, where it's not necessarily a nostalgia for times past. It's like being upset that how linear time moves, and not really being able to hold on to anything other than memories, which can also fade and will fade eventually. But they're all somewhere recorded. This is like our physical approximation of that, for little blips of consciousness. But it's the fleeting moment that's always bothered me. Looking back at things with that bittersweet type of thing. I've always been very melancholy about that, and that's always kind of upset me. And I've tried to live with no regrets. Pardon the meme. But yeah, no regrets. I try to think that everything is and the frame everything in my life needed to happen that way for me to be where I am. And I'm grateful for all those things. However, I am not, it's like hindsight's 2020, and being able to look back and say, if I did this, I could have done this, and then led on to this and led on to this. But it's not meant for you. Because of the decisions you have, that I think that is where the free will comes in, where it's like how you want to play the game, and whether you believe this is a one go round, and we have one life to live. And to me, that sounds more like an atheistic thought than even a Christian one. I have an issue with the Christian idea of living one life. I understand it serves the idea of cherishing your life and trying to preserve and perfect it. I understand the mentality behind it, and the motivation behind encouraging people to think that they have one life, and if they don't get it right, then they're going to end up in hell, in eternal torment forever. Which I'm not saying isn't possible. I don't think that seems just or fair, and the God that would do that, I don't know. Does he give everybody enough chances? Like I'm not going to say yes or no. It just doesn't feel like love and mercy, and it's also the idea of if we're all these children of God, like, are we just relegated to being a creation and being this lower form where we're only allowed a certain experience? We're given our free will to move within that capacity, and maybe we could move mountains and all this kind of stuff, if we truly accepted the gifts, and we truly understood how to be in existence and live and be one with the universe and all that jazz. Man, I really don't like all that jazz, that saying, but I say it a lot. Also, hindsight is 2020 is another one. It's cliche. That's a good one. But all that jazz is just it's like, jazz is jizz. It's, it's squirt. It's semen. And I don't know why I say it. It's kind of one of those things that just rolls off my tongue. Oh, God. So, yeah. You can find those little nuggets sometimes, too. If you just keep talking. So, maybe we call this one All That Jazz. And there is something to that. I've kind of been fascinated with that as well. This is a totally rambling episode, and I'm not going to get back to any points, I don't think. But All That Jazz, or like the jazz singer, that was like the first like big talkie movie, I think. And it was with, was it Jackie Gleason? I don't know, maybe. It was with some guy it couldn't have been Jackie Gleason. I don't know. It was a long time ago, and it was basically like a guy doing blackface. And I'm sure it's hilarious, but that's how far we've come. That was like from and this is just from this is from YouTube University, just from seeing some video that I don't really remember that much, but it's crazy. And there's something about jazz, that word, the form of music, what it represents. Yeah, it's kind of like squirting your stuff all over the place randomly. Like it's using the power of creation, because jazz goes from, you know, anything from the most avant-garde thing, and somebody could call it jazz, and they would, you know, they could be correct, to, you know, all the kind of the lame duck stuff that are like the jazz standards that, you know, really started the whole thing off. But jazz is a fascinating theme, but there's something sinister. Like it's like silly, but it's also like there's something sinister about it. I don't know what it is. It's just that thought of like it means literally like jizz, like semen. Yeah, so maybe I'll like think about that. I'll kind of come up with a little thought theme that I can do a little, you know, essay on, just verbalize, not write it down or anything or practice it, but just something that I can think about. Maybe that's something that I can get to down the road. But this morning I started writing a list of all these things I want to do. So maybe it's just the mood I'm in. I'm like going from one thing to the next. Yeah. I think later I will watch this back and just be like, okay, you need to be medicated. Like, this is obviously like where it all started, man, where things went off the rails. This is the true crime story of no. All right, well, I'm at work. So whatever that was, but everything is going to be all right. I know that for sure.